children walking along the summer night's shadows approached the river near their neighborhood. Nerves made them laugh, and fear amplified their voices. Speaking over their fright gave them strength, as they secretly hoped to get an adult's attention who might join them walking past the river and protect them from the woman. The woman was Latin America's La Llorona, and this is Legends from the Pacific. Aloha! Thank you for joining us. This is Legends from the Pacific, episode 98, Latin America's La Llorona. I am Kamuela Kaneshiro, a native Hawaiian professional writer, speaker, and Comic-Con panelist with extensive film and television experience. I study mythology, I've encountered unusual things, and I'm a geek. You can support us by getting 2 or 3 of your friends to listen to our show. This simple request goes a long way in helping us grow our show. And a big mahalo nui loa to our Patreon members, whose support keeps our show going. Later in this episode, your featured song in Hawaiian word, but first, let me share with you La Llorona. As usual, I apologize for any mispronounced words or names. La Llorona means the weeping woman or wailer. She appears as a skeletal woman in an old-fashioned, tattered white dress, who seems to glide over rivers. Her face is usually hidden behind a veil or her long black hair, and there are variations to her origin story. One claims she was a beautiful peasant named Maria, who married or had an affair with a rich man. They had 2 children, who Maria killed through neglect or murder because her rich lover left her for a woman from his social class. Maria mourned her children. She refused to eat, which gave her her skeletal appearance, and she wandered the riverside calling out for them until she died. Now, it is believed Maria couldn't enter heaven without her children, so her spirit wanders the river for them. Okay, I have some issues with this part because it implies Maria's ghost told someone why she couldn't get into heaven. I mean, I guess a medium or psychic could have reported it, but there's also theory that this story came from Catholic communities, which is also difficult to believe because according to Catholic belief, Maria shouldn't have gotten near heaven for killing her kids. But I digress. Soon her ghost was seen searching the riverside for her children. If she encounters children, she'll think they are hers and kill them. Because of this, it is believed La Llorona is meant to scare misbehaving children, or keep them from wandering along the river, which is similar to the Bunyip and Hawaii's Green Lady of Wahiawa, which we covered in previous episodes. While most of La Llorona's victims were drowned, some had puncture wounds from a dagger or small knife, which isn't really consistent with La Llorona. But I have a theory on this, which I'll go into detail later in our episode. La Llorona has also been seen beside railroads, streets, and in vehicles. During the time of settlers, a child argued with his mother, then stormed off. He convinced his 2 brothers to join him, leaving their ranch. That night, the children took the family's wagon. One slept in the back, as the other 2 sat in front. While their wagons squeaking joined the nocturnal chirping, a woman in a dress stood beside the road. The brothers, worried she might ask where their parents were, passed the stranger. Continuing on their path, a black shape formed between the brothers. Lingering in their peripheral was the woman they passed. Fear consumed them. Dread rattled their nerves, and they did their best to ignore her, until the brother driving the wagon turned it around and headed home. The woman vanished, and something drifted along the wind. Argue with your mother again, and someday I'll return. So La Llorona appears in cars' back seats, similar to Pele. Also, how you treat La Llorona is how she would treat you. And most of these sightings have been reported by male drivers. It should be noted that cheating men could be targets for La Llorona. But you should be warned that hearing her wailing could cause bad luck, and it could tell you how close she is. If it is loud, she is far. If it is faint, she is close, which is similar to the aswang that was shared on a previous episode. A family camping beside a river finished their dinner and gathered around their fire. As they talked and laughed, their middle child sat up and faced the water. "Did you hear that? Don't listen to your brother," his mother sighed. "He's just trying to scare you." "No, I promise. I hear something." Their fire crackled. Crying drifted on the air. It came from a tall white figure gliding beside the moonlit river. The family's skin prickled as the figure floated up a hill and over it. Burning wood snapped. "Mommy?" "It's okay, baby. It's gone. I don't hear it." Crying softer than the crackling fire shot a chill through their bones. The pale figure crested a hill closer to them. It glided beside the river and blended with the shadows. The wailing stopped. The children cried. The older ones ran past their younger siblings into their mother's arms. Their father took a lantern and went to where the figure was. The area was untouched. Historically, La Llorona has been compared with La Malinche, a 16th century woman who became an interpreter for Spanish conquistadors. Many considered her a traitor, and her reputation worsened after having a child with Cortez. While stories claimed she drowned her son, this is false, since her son had a full life. Today, many pieces of art depict La Malinche positively. There's even a statue of her in Mexico City. As for La Llorona, she's been popularized in many television shows like Supernatural and Grimm, along with films titled after her. So, my theory. When people have seen La Llorona beyond her riverbank, or the victims that were found with puncture wounds, I feel this may have been another entity, or an entity that happened to be crying or weeping. Since La Llorona means weeping or wailing woman, witnesses were correct in calling what they experienced a La Llorona. But from there, many may have accidentally grouped it as the La Llorona. If you like what you heard, please give us a rating and write a review. I'd really appreciate it. Our theme song is Mystery by Tavana, courtesy of High Sessions. Sound effects are by Sound Effects Factory. Our music coordinator is Matt Duffy, aka DJ TripleBypass. Links and show notes can be found on our website, legendsfromthepacific.com, including a link to your featured song, which is Scared by Kay Lana, courtesy of High Sessions. Legends from the Pacific was written, produced, and edited by me, Kamuela Kaneshiro. I also wrote our original stories. Your featured Hawaiian word is lole. Lole means dress. An example of lole is women wear lole to formal occasions. Once again, lole is Hawaiian for dress. As a side note, lole could also mean clothes and costume. Thank you once again for listening. Mahalo and a hui ho.
Deep in that I'm awakened by the sound of my own silent scream.